Great weather's in store. It's 8:01, and the news is next.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. Secretary of State John Kerry is in Iraq today. He's already met with Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki. NPR's Deborah Amos reports Kerry's trip comes amid more territorial gains by insurgents north of Baghdad and the disappearance of the Iraqi army in some parts of the country.
An official military spokesman said the Iraqi army had withdrawn from most of western Anbar province to secure the capital. Another sign the army has collapsed as a national institution, says Hiwa Othman, an independent Kurdish journalist.
The army as a symbol of national unity has vanished, and we have a local mass of people with arms.
The local mass, Sunni Arabs who back the ISIS sweep, including the capture of Mosul, the largest city in the north. Othman says the army is not capable of reversing those gains.
Mosul can go back to the way it was if the Sunnis who are there rebel against ISIS and no one else.
Still a big if, he says. Iraq is in danger of fracturing along sectarian lines. Deborah Amos, NPR News, Erbil.
Israeli warplanes struck 9 targets inside Syria today. The Israeli military says this comes after an Israeli teenager was killed yesterday near the Syrian border by incoming Syrian fire. It's not clear whether this came from Syrian government forces or rebels, but Israel says it was unprovoked. The Israeli airstrikes come as Israeli troops continue searching for 3 missing Israeli teenagers believed to be kidnapped. More than 300 Palestinians have been arrested in the search. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the search has been appropriate.
Our goal is to minimize the friction with the population and focus on these twin missions of getting back our teenagers and also taking action against those who kidnapped them.
No one has claimed responsibility for the abduction, but Israeli authorities hold the Palestinian militant group Hamas responsible. In Egypt, a judge has sentenced 3 Al Jazeera English journalists on terrorism-related charges. Mary Kennedy reports from Cairo the journalists face years in prison.
There was pandemonium in the court as the judge announced his verdict, and the families cried out and wept. Journalists Peter Gresta and Mohammed Fahmy were sentenced to 7 years in prison, while their colleague Bahar Mohammed was sentenced to 10. The verdict can be appealed. A statement from Al Jazeera English said the verdict defies logic, sense, and any semblance of justice. This comes after nearly 6 months in prison and a trial where no concrete evidence was presented to link the journalist to the terrorism-related charges. Human rights groups and international organizations have broadly condemned this case. At a time when the government has shown little tolerance for critical voices, this verdict raises serious concerns about the status of freedom of expression in Egypt. For NPR News, I'm Mary Kennedy in Cairo.
And you're listening to NPR News from Washington. Some European foreign ministers say Russia faces the chance of sanctions if it continues to meddle in Ukraine. The ministers want Russia to back Ukraine's proposed peace plan and to stop militants from crossing the border from Russia into Ukraine to fight Ukrainian troops. The European Union has not imposed economic sanctions on Russia for annexing the Ukrainian region of Crimea, but the ministers say they will re-examine that position this week.